The first thing they take from you isn't your phone or your freedom. It's sleep. That happens before you even realize what's going on. The bus doors open, voices explode into the night, and time immediately stops belonging to you. You're yelled at to move faster before your brain can process where you are. Bags are grabbed, lines are formed, instructions overlap. You don't understand half of what's being said, but you understand one thing clearly: hesitation is punished. From that moment forward, confusion becomes constant, and clarity becomes rare. The first night barely counts as a night. You're technically allowed to sleep, but it's shallow, broken, and tense. Every sound snaps you awake. Every movement feels like a threat. Your body is exhausted, but your nervous system is on full alert. You don't know when the next command will come, so you never fully relax. This isn't accidental. Sleep deprivation is the foundation of the breakdown. When you're tired, your emotional defenses collapse faster. Logic weakens, patience disappears. Small stresses feel overwhelming. The military understands this deeply, and the first 72 hours are designed to exploit it. By morning, time feels distorted. Minutes stretch. Hours blur together. You've been awake for what feels like days, even if it hasn't been. Yelling becomes background noise. At first, it shocks you, then it confuses you. Eventually, it just exists. Commands are sharp, loud, and relentless, not because you can't hear, but because stress accelerates compliance. When someone yells, your body reacts faster than your mind. You stop questioning, you stop analyzing, you just move. Pressure comes from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You're rushed to hurry up, then punished for moving too fast. You're told to be perfect, then criticized no matter what you do. The rules change without explanation. Mistakes are inevitable, and that's the point. The goal isn't success, it's overload. When your brain is flooded with conflicting instructions, fatigue, and fear of punishment, you stop relying on personal judgment. You start relying on authority. This is how individuality begins to dissolve. The lack of sleep magnifies everything. Hunger feels sharper, emotions feel closer to the surface. Simple tasks feel complicated. You notice people around you breaking in small ways, shaking hands, clenched jaws, distant stares. Some get angry, some go silent. Some laugh at inappropriate moments because their brain can't regulate emotion anymore. You start to understand that this isn't about physical strength. The strongest people aren't always the ones who survive these hours. It's the ones who can endure mental discomfort without reacting. Yelling isn't just noise, it's psychological pressure. It removes any sense of safety. You never know when it's coming or why it's directed at you. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes it's random. Sometimes it's for something you didn't even do. That unpredictability keeps you on edge. When humans don't know what will trigger punishment, they become hypervigilant. You start monitoring yourself constantly. Every movement feels deliberate. Every breath feels watched. By the second night, exhaustion becomes physical pain. Your body moves slower, but the demands don't decrease. If anything, they increase. This is where most recruits hit their first real wall. You start questioning why you're there. You replay the decision in your head. You think about home, comfort, and sleep like they're distant fantasies. Some people cry quietly when no one is watching. Others go emotionally flat, shutting down just to get through the moment. This is the breaking point for many, not because they're weak, but because the pressure feels endless. The constant state of readiness becomes exhausting on its own. You're never allowed to mentally disengage. Even standing still requires attention. This teaches a brutal lesson early. Comfort is temporary and control is external. The third day is where the real transformation happens. You're so tired that your sense of self starts to blur. The voice in your head quiets down because it's too exhausted to argue. You stop asking how long things will last. You stop hoping for breaks. You exist moment to moment, command to command, breath to breath. This is the moment the military is waiting for. When resistance fades and acceptance takes its place, people often think recruits break because they're yelled at or deprived of sleep. That's not the full truth. They break because they realize they don't get to choose anymore. Not when to sleep, not when to eat, not when to speak, not even how to stand. Choice disappears, and with it, ego follows. For some, that loss feels terrifying. For others, it feels strangely relieving. When responsibility is removed, survival becomes simpler. The pressure also reveals character fast. You see who blames others, who panics, who freezes, and who adapts. You learn that panic spreads quickly in confined environments. So does calm. Even without speaking, emotions ripple through the group. This is intentional. The military isn't just shaping individuals, it's shaping collective behavior. You learn that your mistakes affect everyone, and everyone's mistakes affect you. Guilt becomes a motivator. Shame becomes a tool. Sleep deprivation strips away politeness. It exposes raw reactions. There's no energy left to pretend. That's why the first 72 hours are so effective. They show who you are under pressure before you've had time to build defenses. People don't quit because they're physically incapable. They quit because they don't like who they become when they're exhausted, powerless, and stressed. By the end of the third day, something shifts. The yelling doesn't feel personal anymore. The pressure feels expected. You start responding faster. You make fewer mistakes, not because things got easier, but because you adapted. Your brain rewires itself for survival. Emotion takes a back seat. Function becomes everything. This is the moment the military calls success, even though it feels nothing like victory. The recruits who make it through don't feel proud yet. They feel empty, numb, and strangely focused. The ones who leave often do so quietly, not in dramatic breakdowns, but in moments of realization. They understand that this environment will keep demanding pieces of them, and they decide the cost is too high. That decision isn't weakness, it's clarity. The first 72 hours aren't about training skills. They're about testing tolerance for stress, uncertainty, authority, and discomfort. They strip away illusion fast. You don't learn how to fight. You learn how to obey when your mind is screaming for rest. You learn how to function when motivation disappears. You learn how quickly identity can be reshaped when sleep is removed and pressure is constant. And that's why these hours break most recruits. Not because they're unprepared physically, but because they underestimate the psychological weight of controlled exhaustion. Once sleep is gone, emotions unravel. Once emotions unravel, ego collapses. And once ego collapses, only two options remain: adapt or leave. The scary part is how effective it is. By the time sleep returns, the transformation has already begun. The person who arrived on day one is quieter now, more controlled, more compliant. Whether that's strength or loss depends on who you ask. And that's the debate the military never settles. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos on YouTube.